Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. Today, we have 4 great decks for you, including 2 tournament winners. These decks today will work on ladder, but tomorrow opens Infinite Conquest, and tournament-winning decks are naturally better at Conquest, and I think these decks will absolutely crush in Infinite Conquest. So let's get started with this deck from FAK Andre Var. Andre Var is one of the founders of Team FAK, one of the most successful teams in Marvel Snap, and this deck won a Card Thwips tournament. Card Thwips tournaments are weekly tournaments. They're up to about 60 players, which is a real sample size, and so we need to pay attention to the results of them. And Andre Var was able to win with this Ajax. It's sort of just like an Ajax Affliction list. It's almost like a Sarah Sarah. It's using Wiccan instead of that card, but like this is a list that's not selling out for Wiccan. It doesn't need Wiccan to win. Instead, it has multiple ways to just sort of control the board, control the game, and win as long as your opponent doesn't have Luke Cage. You can find Andre Var at twitter.com/AndreVar14. So you need Man-Thing, Ajax, Wiccan, and US Agent for this list, and I'm a little less sold that you need Wiccan now that I've actually tested the deck out a little bit. I think Wiccan can be Sarah, and you're not going to lose too much. If you are going to make that change, Maria Hill probably becomes a more versatile one. Think Silver Sable, think Iceman, something like that. For this list, Nocturne can be Red Guardian, Gladiator, Polaris, or Debris. Nocturne is just a regular good card. It's location control, but it's not a requirement. Nico and Spider-Ham can be Iceman, Hydra Bob, Silver Sable, Nightcrawler, or Snowguard. They are not required. You're just choosing the best one for the spot. If I were to keep Wiccan in this list, I would find a spot for Kate Bishop. I'm not sure if Andre Var has Kate Bishop, but Kate Bishop offers us a 2 that we can play on 2 that gives us a lot of versatility on turn 3 with only 2 3s in the deck. So if I had to, I'd probably end up taking out Nocturne for Kate Bishop as the list is right now. I think Kate Bishop is too good to lose if you are keeping the Wiccan package. However, if you're going with Sarah in that spot because you don't own Wiccan, I think you want a 3 there instead. That makes sense for everybody. All right. Turn 1, you want Maria Hill if you need a 2. If not, your other ones are fine. Turn 2, you want US Agent or a Maria Hill card, and this is sort of where you run into trouble and why I want Kate, because you don't really want to play Shadow King or Hazmat on 2. In fact, I would not play Shadow King or Hazmat on 2. I would instead hold them for later. However, fair warning, there is one specific instance that I really like Hazmat on turn 2, and that's if your opponent just drops a Deadpool and you have Prio because you played a 2-power 1 on turn 1. You can Hazmat make that Deadpool 0, and as they destroy that Deadpool, unless they have Hulkbuster or something else, you're just doubling 0 to stay at 0. Turn 3 is Luke or Nocturne. You're also fine with a 2 plus a 1 as necessary. Turn 4, if you have Wiccan turned on, play Wiccan. If not, you're dropping Man-Thing in a location to mess with opponents. Turn 5 is Ajax or Man-Thing Plus. Man-Thing Plus tends to be an after Wiccan play. You're generally speaking dropping Ajax. Turn 6, if you didn't play Ajax and you spent your turn 5 going like, I don't know, Man-Thing and Hazmat, or you have US Agent and Man-Thing out, you can then drop Ajax. But you can also, if you went Wiccan, you can go Ajax and Hazmat to end the game. If not, you're doing Shang-Chi plus Shadow King, Shang-Chi plus US Agent, whichever one wins the game. And that's how you play this. It's really straightforward. It is a lot of power in this deck, but you have to play intelligently, thinking about what your opponent has and what they're going to play in specific places. After this, we have a Power On tournament winner, so we're going to take a look at that. But first, one last look at this list, which is very powerful. FAK Andre Var, congrats on the big win in a 60-person tournament. That is nothing to sleep on. All good? Again, very powerful deck. If your opponent does not have Luke Cage, you have play against almost everything, thanks to the counters in the list. Please hit that sub button if you're willing. We're trying to hit 15,000 subs by the end of the year. We might get there, like it's getting close, so I'd really appreciate any extra support you're willing to get us to help us get there. It would mean the world to us. We bring you 7 days a week of Marvel Snap videos, top decks in the meta, a podcast with the biggest names in the game, the best decks the soonest from the best players. So if that's the kind of thing you like, hit that sub button. And if you're willing to help us fight that YouTube algorithm, a like and a comment go a long way there too. This is sort of our pre-season giveaway. Always do a big giveaway the first 2 weeks of the season. The week before the new season and then the week of the new season. This is the last week of the season, so we're giving away Agent Venom this week. We're giving away 5 this week. All you have to do is be subbed, like, and leave a comment on the video. At some point in this video, every video for the week, I'm going to ask you to leave a comment. That comment, as long as it answers whatever question I ask, is an entry to win a season pass. The comments for every video this week, Monday to Friday, will be a season pass. So if you'd like to win a season pass, this is the spot for you. We are also starting a new Pokemon Pocket channel. It's called The Pocket Meta. You can just type in Pulse Glazer Pokemon or check the description to this video in order to find that that channel if you're interested in that game. Right as this goes live, I'm going to have an awesome little video with my son talking about Pokemon, because I'm going to get into Pokemon Pocket with my 8-year-old son, where I interviewed him about his feelings about Pokemon. That video is going to go live now, so please check it out if you're interested in some cuteness in this fine morning. All right, next up we have Fernet's Hella. So Fernet's Hella is the list that won yet another tournament. This tournament was all the Spanish language speaking people in the Marvel Snap community in a tournament. It was won by a player named Fernet, who is, to the best of my knowledge, not a content creator, but still conquered the tournament, absolutely dominating with this Hella list. This Hella list looks an awful lot like the one we featured last week. This is the Husky Hella Shell. We are running Symbiote Spider-Man over Blink, and we're keeping Luke Cage over Wasp. That first deck that won the tournament should be enough sort of impetus to why you run Luke over Wasp, especially in tournaments or in Conquest for this list, because you don't really want to just lose to US Agent and other such nonsense. Symbiote Spider-Man doesn't give you the consistency in finding Hella that Blink does, but it does give you better discards. It does give you better Hellas when that card does come out. Thus, you are more likely to win the game of Marvel Snap, which seems like an important thing to do when you're playing Marvel Snap, you know. All right, so for Net's Hella list, so you can find this tournament's streamed at twitch.tv/Lufgu9. If you're interested in watching the VODs of it, you can watch a bunch of Fernet's games and then win the tournament. Symbiote Spider-Man can be Blink or Lockjaw for this list without losing too much. This remains the cheapest Tier 1 list in Marvel Snap, with only Symbiote Spider-Man as a high series card. One of the replacements is high series as well in Blink, but the other is Lockjaw. That's a series 3 card. Feel free to go either way. All right, so turn 1, you blade if you have a non-Hella 6. You don't blade away Death usually. Turn 2 is the same as 1. Turn 3 is Lady Sif if if Death or another 6, and that's better than Luke Cage. Turn 4 is Hellcow over Symbiote. Turn 5 is Hellcow over Symbiote, and then you want to make sure to get the Symbiote in the lane with either Blade or Lady Sif, or you can play it alone if you don't have Hella yet. The reason you play it alone if you don't have Hella yet is you can play Jubilee to end the game, and then you can immediately Symbiote, and you're going to pull 2 of the last 3 cards in your deck. One of those is obviously very likely to be Hella, which will then win you the game. You trigger Hellcow before you do that, by the way. The other thing you could do on the last turn of the game is you just play Hella. So you're going double Jubilee to try and find Hella, or you're just playing Hella. Cool. If you have Hella already, then your Symbiote should be triggering Blade for an extra discard along with your Hellcow. Does this make sense for everybody? Good. All right, this is the simplest list to win with. If you are struggling for Infinite, please take this exact list to ladder and go be Infinite. As long as you have any patience and don't stay in foolishly, you will hit Infinite with this list. It is not the winningest list in Marvel Snap. Don't expect a crazy win rate, but you will get a lot of cubes, and bots will automatically feed you 8 with this list. This list is absolutely incredible at printing cubes, and a great one to get Infinite for, and a great one to take into Conquest. Thus, it is one of the best decks in Marvel Snap, even though its win rate is very low. Its win rate's only 52-53%, but the cube rate makes up for it because Marvel Snap is a game that lets you climb based on cubes, not wins. After one last look at the deck, we're going to look at a Loki Toxic list. So one last look at this one. It is incredibly strong. You should be playing this if you have access to it and are trying to get either an Infinity Border or trying to hit Infinite. If you're trying to climb in Infinite, there's a level of frustration that comes from not winning as much, right? Because like you're just trying to raise ranks, right? So you want to win more consistently. I could see why you wouldn't want to play this as closely, but it's worth noting that Husky is still playing largely this deck and is sitting on the top 3 to 5 in the Infinite leaderboard. Next up, we have Dragono's Toxic Loki. Loki's back. Everyone keeps messaging me that they're sort of dominating with this list. This list doesn't look all that dissimilar to the last list, right? Except, well, it's a Loki Sarah list, right? It's, sorry, the first list, not the last list. But it is a Loki Sarah list that basically says I can do all the old Loki things, or I could just win by being extremely toxic. Either one is perfectly freaking acceptable. If the opponent has a bunch of big cards, you go Quinjet Loki. You have big cards for cheap. You can win that way. You can also win through just using your tech, like Man Thing, US Agent to make their stuff worse. Luke Cage, so it doesn't affect you. Rogue to get rid of their Luke Cage or Ajax or whatever other nonsense they happen to have. Cable to steal their best cards, and Copycat. If you like Copycat of Hela and you know Hela is their bottom card, you snap. Cable, same thing, except top card. There's a lot of ways to win with this list. Madam Web is here as just a utility card, not a requirement, but this list is stellar. Dragono is absolutely dominating with it, and like if you check Twitter, a bunch of different people are like, I'm climbing with this, I'm getting infinity tickets with this, and like everyone's just sort of kicking butt with this list. It's time to take a look at Loki in the meta as not just an arishem card. All right, you can find Dragono at twitch.tv/Dragono. He just made affiliate, so congrats to Dragono. You need Loki, US Agent, and Man Thing. You don't need the other high series cards, though. Madam Web can be Jeff, White Widow, Kate Bishop, Baron Mordo, or Mirage. Madam Web is here as a confusing way to move around power, a confusing way especially to move around that Man Thing and US Agent as needed. Copycat can be Nocturne, Gladiator, Red Guardian, or Shang-Chi. I'm partial to Red Guardian or Shang-Chi, but follow your heart. This is, again, working really, really well right now and worth giving a look if you have access to it. So turn 1, you'd like to play Quinjet. Basically, always Quinjet works. Ooh, let's take a look. Quinjet obviously works on Loki cards, but we also have the Cable and Coulson cards to really make that card sing. Turn 2, you'd rather Loki, then play Cable, then play Madam Web, then play US Agent. That's my general order. I'd rather save US Agent for later, unless I know I can Madam Web it later. Turn 3 is supposed to be Luke or Coulson. Coulson gives you a lot of optionality. Luke is obviously just really strong in this list. If you think you're going to Sarah, you can save Luke for later and Coulson sooner. Turn 4, you would like to play Man Thing. Basically, always, right? Like, you want to get Man Thing out if humanly possible. Turn 2, you will Loki over Luke or Coulson. By turn 4, I'm almost always just playing the damn Man Thing. And that's better than your turn 3 plays. Sometimes Coulson will give you something that you play instead of Man Thing, but it's usually just Man. Turn 5, if nothing else has changed, you want to play Sarah. You can also end up going like Quinjet and Loki. At this point, you're only going to get one cheap card, but sometimes that's all you really need at -2 cost. Sarah is the goal, and then you play everything. Agent, generate a card, Shadow King, Rogue, whatever else you can. Don't forget to try and move that Man Thing and or you as Agent to the most advantageous spot with your Madam Web at that point in the game. That's how you play the list. It's very strong. And we are about to check out a awesome Cerebro 3, but first let me tell you about the stream team. Today is Monday, so the great Gregor2424 will be streaming some awesome decks for us. We're going to, all of these decks, if you want to see gameplay from them, check out Gregor2424. He'll be streaming and playing these decks today. If you're interested, also, the King of Canada will have yesterday's decks on his stream. Also, if you're interested in Scarlet Spider and the Spotlight Caches for this coming week, yesterday's video has a breakdown of those. And Gregor will have his video of today's decks up tomorrow morning. So if you're interested in that, please do check it out. All right, Buff Captain America is a player that if you hang out on a lot of Snap streams, you'll know. He's often in the streams playing really cool decks, talking about them and just chatting. Very, very nice person. He sent me the Cerebro 3, and I played the Cerebro 3, and the Cerebro 3 is incredible into the meta right now. Turns out that unless your opponent has Luke, Valkyrie absolutely wrecks the world, right? Valkyrie is insanely strong, and you can just go over the top of almost everything with this list, assuming that you're patient and see the right cards. Magic is a strikingly safe card right now, and if you can get a safe Magic, this deck can beat almost anything, thanks to, I mean, the sheer, like, it's got almost a crazy amount of tech, right? US Agent, Killmonger, Red Guardian, Luke to some extent here, and Shang-Chi and Valkyrie all in one deck. All with 5 to 7 power in this deck is just a ton. All right, so Buff Captain America doesn't have socials that I know of, but again, if you hang out in enough Marvel Snap streams, you'll see them. So this deck needs US Agent. Red Guardian can be Rogue, but Rogue is way worse here. This like really wants to be Guardian. US Agent is a requirement. Outside of those two cards, though, this is relatively cheap. This is an easy one to get into. So turn 1, Bast, if you can hit 2 cards, and, excuse me, wrong way. The 2 cards that you are looking to hit generally are, Cerebro, Mystique, and Iron Man. You're not sad to hit Magic, but it's not your priority. Turn 2, you would like to play Invisible Woman, basically always, if possible. Turn 3, you want to play Cerebro behind Invisible Woman, or you can play Magic. You can Red Garden if it's a priority target, and Luke is just fine. You usually don't want to Luke Cage, though if you're playing against Bounce and you had Invisible... You usually don't want to play Killmonger, though if you're playing against Bounce and you can drop a Killmonger behind Invisible Woman, that's fine too. Turn 4, last thing. You can also, behind Invisible Woman, sometimes drop Mystique, and then you can make sure the last card you play is either Cerebro or Iron Man, and then you get an extra copy of those, assuming you can ensure that last card play. Turn 4 is generally the same thing as 3. Also add Invisible Woman behind that, Shang-Chi behind that Invisible Woman, especially if your opponent has Hela. They get this big stupid lane. That your Shang appears, their big stupid lane disappears. You've got that lane down. Turn 5 is basically always Iron Man. You really, really, really want Iron Man here. Iron Man gives you just lanes that are uncounterable. Turn 6 is Mystique and Cerebro, and you can Cerebro Mystique or Mystique and Cerebro, pending Iron Man. Or you can drop Valkyrie or Shang and US Valkyrie or Shang and US Agent. And then you have the same basic concepts on turn 7, except now you can do Valkyrie and US Agent, or another 2 in US Agent. And that's how you move this list. It's very simple. It's very strong. And if you like Cerebro at all, this is your call to go back to this list. It is extremely strong into everything everyone is doing right now. This is not a heavy ongoing meta. This is a heavy Affliction meta. This is a heavy Hela meta, and this deck beats the crap out of both of those. Go, have at it, and have fun. Also, if your opponent tries to junk you and you just Valkyrie, it's great. You're just like, oh, I've got -8 here. Oh, wait, never mind. I've got all those are 7 power cards or 5 power cards. It's great. This list is great. Go play it. Props to Buff Captain America for bringing it back, and for Captain America for coming up with this again and putting it together and reminding us that this is a meta deck. Questions of the day. I'd like to say, yeah, I can talk. Let's actually do our question for the giveaway at this point first. My question for the giveaway is, what are you playing right now, and are you enjoying the meta? Cool. What kind of deck are you playing right now, and are you enjoying the meta? Nice and simple one, right? I'm just curious what everyone's playing. I feel like the meta is fairly diverse, but I'm not sure I like the meta right now, and I'm not sure why. So I'm curious what you think. Jenksy asks how I figure out bundle value, and straight up, I check Marvel Snap Zone. I know that our friend Carolus, our friend Lauren Whatevs, both write for Snap Zone and have different formulas they use. Our friend Savage Eddie used to use formulas. They've all talked me through what to look for in bundles, and so now at this point I have a general feel, but I just go with the numbers from Marvel Snap Zone at this point. I'm not sitting there doing math every single time. I know I'm looking at progress value, not cosmetic value, because cosmetic value is too subjective for me to consider. So what I'm looking at in progress value is for cash bundles, 170-ish%, usually 172, 173% is a good value. More than that is very good. When you get to 200, I start to consider it. You should probably buy this, like almost certainly buy this. And when we get up to like 220, 230, I think it's must buy. That's fundamentally how I look at bundles as far as cash bundles. As far as gold bundles, basically they're much closer to 100% value. 100% value being basically what you get if you just turn your gold in shop into whatever resource it is, right? They're much closer to 100%. So you're looking at trying to get like 10 to 20% more value, like 115, 117% gold bundle is top of the line stuff. So you're waiting for those. Also, some of those gold bundles tend to include Series 4 or Series 5 cards, and those obviously have more value because if you don't have access to those cards, they're there. I don't actually do the math for this. This math is done for me thanks to Marvel Snap Zone. You can feel free to check the Marvel Snap Zone bundles tab yourself if you're not interested in waiting for my reviews. I'm just trying to make sure that as many people get the information as humanly possible. Ludicrous asks what's easier to play, move or bounce, and I think that bounce is significantly easier to play. Bounce is about placing your cards, and move is about sequencing your cards. Sequencing has more things that can go wrong, more placements that can go wrong, more, oh my god, I actually needed that card over there 2 turns later in order to pull off whatever combo you wanted. Oh no, that vulture is slightly bigger than this dagger, that dagger is slightly bigger than this vulture when I wanted Doctor Strange. All those kind of small things, or oh no, there's a Nidvalir, and now the +5 on that cloak is going to ruin my Doctor Strange later. Or oh no, I want a cloak, but if I cloak, they have access to this move as well. I want to play Hercules, but they also have 2 smaller move cards. How do I plan for if these 2 smaller move cards do this, that, the other thing? Do I need to clog another lane? If that card ends up in the Hercules lane, do I just die? There's so many different things with move that I think move is the single hardest deck to play in Marvel Snap. And I think the stats back me up because a lot of the top players in the world are playing move decks. like at really high levels. And then if you check the stats for all the move cards, they're all like 48% win rate because most people just can't win with it. Bounce has a lower win rate than it should. My bounce win rate is almost always 5 to 7% higher than average when other people are playing the deck, but that doesn't even compare to move, where it's like 48% to like 60%, right? The difference in percentage, I think, suggests that move is significantly harder to play. Although, obviously, hey, to each their own, right? If you have a more move brain than a bounce brain, then it's going to be easier for you. There's no guarantee that your brain works the exact same way as everyone else's. Mandatory Burnout asks what I want from Marvel Snap. Nothing, to have fun. I want to continue to grow the channel and have fun. I enjoy the meta. I'm not enjoying this meta. I enjoy most metas. I'm not enjoying this meta, but it doesn't really matter because Marvel Snap moves so fast. Any meta I don't enjoy, I can just sort of shrug through and realize that within 2 to 3 weeks it'll change. That's how Marvel Snap works. So I'm not actually worried about a meta I don't really enjoy. I think that the beauty of Marvel Snap is that it's fast moving and fun, and I can continue to play. I don't really have any goals. Once I did that season where I finished in the top 250, and I could like push for top 100, but I don't actually give a shit. I Part of me wanted to prove that I was good enough to like finish in the top 100, but like if I got to 250, like, and I honest to God didn't really grind. I just like, if you checked my games played and then you checked the other people who played around me, they were playing like 300-400 more games than me, so whatever. Like, I don't have time to play that much. I don't really want to play that much. I go on vacation in the middle of literally every month I've got time to grind for. So I mostly just want to have a respectable rank, have a good time, and enjoy the game. And hopefully grow the channel, continue to form relationships, build a community, so on and so forth. Same question for Pokemon Pocket is not the same. Answer, I want to build a channel with my son. I'm going to have a really great time with my son, and I'm curious to learn something new. I didn't start making Marvel Snap videos until March of 2023, and the game came out in November, so I already had a level of expertise, a level of understanding of the game when I started. The Pokemon Pocket is going to be everyone watching me learn, and I'm a little, I don't know, I'm interested to see how that goes, to see what we get from that and how it changes up how we play Pokemon Pocket. I have no doubt that I can build a level of expertise in it. Card games are card games. I played Magic. I hit whatever. Mythic is the top thing. Every season I tried, I played other card games and I had no real problem like being competitive. I know I'll be competitive enough in the game given my limited time. I'm hoping the game is really fun, honestly, so that I can continue to play and grow a channel with my son. That's my expectations. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks in every single video. I'd like to say thank you to a whole bunch of people, starting with Abigail Gieslam, Mandatory Burnout, a Burnout, Cables, It Regardless, It's a Word, David G. Wingfield, hey David, Direwolf, always great, LAB, always kind, FaThorNewman, check him out on YouTube and Twitch, he's growing so fast, Good Dog Gamer, hey Good Dog, Ink, Graphite Fan, I am Frostman, you sure are, Jane Everett, hey Jay, Corwin, Brian Ryan, who has an awesome app called Prime Mind you should totally check out. Ryan Burke, who's named after the avenue I grew up on. King of Questions, Kertix Lee. The Great Koi Ray, coming all the way from Japan. Our sons will be friends soon. Black Dahlia, my current alliance leader. If you want to join, by the way, please hit us up. We've got some space. The Goat Seeker. Hello, Goat Seeker. Den, Man, Falcon. Archangel 3K. Quid Pro Joe. King of New Marvel Snap Card Content, Doc D. Fadic. Mr. Kerfuffle. Ginger Prime, hey Ginger. Philip Rakovich, Ratco, getting busy Ratco, Hatblow, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Beza, X-Force V, and Skippy G. Winner of Snapchat League Season 1, Tommy Nyquist, The King of Bros, bruh, The Great Kazoo, Womp, Jessica Gamble, hi Jess, Woody, Kev Sihora, hello Kev, thank you for the kind message, Luna Chris, got a question, Quantum Quinn, John Q, and Jimmy McHugh, it's awesome name town, Clam, 8th, Sage, Montsupreme Models, the one and only Darth Vader, No Joe K, Joe P, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, and Jason B. Real name town. JD McDonaldinho, check him out on Twitch. He's streaming more and more lately. The Fuzzy Dunlop. Lecture Mix. Woot. Matt H. We only need one. Mikey Hijinks, our favorite DJ. No Frickin' Flex. Ocularis, Mr. Greg Sterry. Seamus Jonesy. Check out the Triple Threat, y'all. Two Ties, my former alliance leader, who I miss. The Great Lorne Whatevs, the Pirate King Tuccrr, the Homie Men, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for Trout. He knows what I'm talking about. Hey, check out that Pokemon video. It should be appearing right next to me right now. Hit that sub button, which should be right below me. And if you want another great Marvel Snap video about Scarlet Spider, that's here too. Thank you so much. Click whichever one most interests you. Peace.